A shivering shadow limped through the empty streets, her steps so weak they barely left prints in the dust. It was a stray dog, ribs sharp against her matted fur, eyes flickering with a plea no one seemed to hear. She paused near a puddle, her nose twitching, but then turned away, trembling as if the very thought of water burned her. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. What could make a starving, dehydrated dog reject water? The answer, discovered in a vet's exam room, would leave everyone stunned. Stick with me, because this story isn't just about a dog. It's about survival, trust, and a truth that hits harder than you expect. Before we dive deeper, hit that like button and share where you're watching from in the comments. I'm curious to see how far this story travels. Your city, your country. Let me know. Now let's step into that cold night where this dog's journey began. A journey that almost ended before anyone noticed. The city was quiet, the kind of quiet that amplifies every small sound. A distant car horn, the rustle of leaves skittering across pavement. In an alley tucked between flickering streetlights, a small shape moved. She was a stray, her coat a patchwork of dirt and tangles, her body so thin it seemed to fold into itself. Each step was a battle, her legs wobbling under the weight of hunger and exhaustion. Yet her eyes, though dulled by pain, held something unmistakable, a spark of hope, a silent cry for someone to stop and see her. People passed by, their footsteps quick, their glances fleeting. Some whispered words of pity, others looked away, unwilling to carry the weight of her suffering. But she kept moving, nose low, searching for something: food, water, safety. She didn't know what. Her throat burned with thirst, but every time she neared water, she flinched as if it stung her from within. Near a corner store where trash bins often spilled scraps, two volunteers from a local animal rescue group spotted her. They'd seen strays before, too many, but this one stopped them cold. Her ribs were a stark outline, her movements sluggish, yet she didn't bolt when they approached. Instead, she stood there, trembling, her tail giving the faintest twitch. One volunteer, Mia, knelt down, her voice soft as she coaxed the dog closer. "Hey, sweet girl, we're here," she whispered. The dog's eyes locked onto hers, and for a moment, it felt like she understood. They offered her a handful of kibble, expecting her to devour it. She nibbled slowly, each bite careful, as if chewing hurt. Then Mia set down a bowl of water, certain the dog would dive in. But the dog froze, sniffed the bowl, and backed away with a sharp whimper. Mia's heart sank, a starving stray refusing water. That wasn't just unusual, it was a red flag waving in their faces. The other volunteer, Sam, crouched beside her. "Something's not right," he said, his voice They tried again, nudging the bowl closer, but the dog recoiled, her body shaking as if the water itself was a threat. Her tongue flicked out for a split second, then she yelped, pulling back. Mia reached out, stroking the dog's head, feeling the tension in her frail frame. "She's desperate for help," Mia murmured, but something's stopping her. The dog's eyes, exhausted yet trusting, seemed to agree. They couldn't wait. Wrapping her gently in a blanket, they lifted her into their van. She didn't resist, her head resting on Sam's lap, her breath shallow but steady, as if she knew these strangers were her last chance. The van's engine roared, cutting through the night as they sped toward the nearest vet clinic. The clinic's lights glowed softly, a beacon in the dark. Mia and Sam burst through the door, the dog cradled in their arms. "She won't drink water," Mia explained, her voice urgent. "Something's wrong with her mouth." The staff moved quickly, clearing an exam table. The dog, too weak to stand, lay still, her eyes darting around the bright room. Her ears flicked back, but she didn't fight. It was as if she'd surrendered to whatever came next, trusting these strangers to help. The vet, Dr. Ellis, a man with steady hands and kind eyes, knelt beside her. He slid a small dish of water under her nose, watching closely. Again she sniffed, then turned away, a low whine escaping her throat. Dr. Ellis frowned. "That's not normal," he said, his fingers gently tracing her jaw. He felt an odd stiffness, a tension that didn't belong. "She's desperate to drink, but something's in the way." He grabbed a flashlight and gloves, his movements calm but deliberate. Mia and Sam stood close, their breaths held. The dog trembled, her eyes wide with fear but unmoving, as if she sensed the truth about to be revealed. Dr. Ellis gently pried open her jaws, shining the light inside. At first, everything looked as expected. Pale gums, worn teeth. But as he tilted the light deeper, his hand froze. His eyes widened, his breath catching. "What is it?" Mia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Dr. Ellis didn't answer right away. He leaned closer, the beam illuminating something unthinkable. Lodged against the roof of her mouth was a sharp, twisted piece of metal, like a cruel trap. It had cut into the soft tissue, leaving dried blood and raw wounds. Every attempt to drink would have stabbed her from the inside. Mia gasped, her hand covering her mouth. "How long has she been like this?" she whispered. Dr. Ellis's face was grim. "Days, maybe weeks. She must have found it scavenging." The metal, likely a piece of wire or debris, had become a torture device, making every sip agonizing. Her refusal to drink wasn't stubbornness, it was survival. The room fell silent, the weight of her pain sinking in. Dr. Ellis didn't hesitate. "We need to act now," he said, his voice firm. "If we don't remove this, she won't make it." The staff sprang into action, preparing tools while Mia and Sam stood by, their hearts pounding. The dog's eyes flickered, as if she knew the battle ahead. Dr. Ellis worked with precision, his tools navigating the jagged metal. The dog whimpered, her body tense, but Mia's soft words kept her calm. "You're so strong," she whispered, stroking her head. The metal was stubborn, its edges hooked deep into the tissue. Each careful tug brought a wince from the dog, and sweat beaded on Dr. Ellis's brow. The room was quiet, except for the clink of instruments and the dog's ragged breaths. Minutes stretched like hours, every second heavy with the stakes. Finally, with a delicate pull, the metal gave way. Blood welled up, but the obstruction was gone. Dr. Ellis quickly cleaned and treated the wounds, applying medication to prevent infection. The dog collapsed, exhausted but alive. A staff member brought fresh water. This time, the dog sniffed, hesitated, then lapped at the bowl. The sound of her drinking, a soft, steady rhythm, filled the room with relief. Mia's eyes welled up, and Sam let out a shaky laugh. "She made it," he said, almost in disbelief. The staff cheered quietly, their exhaustion giving way to hope. The dog, though weak, lifted her head slightly, her eyes brighter than before. It was as if she felt the shift, the pain easing, the chance at life returning. By morning, sunlight spilled through the clinic windows, warming the blanket where the dog lay. Her breathing was steady, her body relaxed for the first time in weeks. Dr. Ellis checked on her, smiling as he saw the nearly empty water bowl. "She's healing," he said, his voice warm. Those words hit Mia and Sam like a wave, the proof of her survival sinking in. The dog's tail twitched faintly, a spark of life returning to her eyes. Mia knelt beside her, whispering, "You're safe now. No more streets, no more pain." The dog leaned into her touch, a quiet trust forming. Word of her rescue spread quickly. Locals visited the clinic, bringing donations and asking about adoption. The stray, once invisible, became a symbol of resilience. Her story wasn't just about survival. It was a reminder of the unseen battles animals fight every day. She'd faced hunger, thirst, and pain, yet held on to hope. Her refusal to drink wasn't weakness. It was her body's desperate way of protecting itself. The metal in her mouth could have ended her, but kindness, persistence, and skill gave her a second chance. This story teaches us something vital. Compassion can change every stray has a story, a struggle we might not see at first glance. When we stop, notice, and act, we create miracles, small, quiet ones that ripple outward. This dog's journey shows us that even in the darkest moments, hope can survive, waiting for someone to see it. Her pain is gone, her future bright, and her story lives on to inspire. So what's the lesson here? Look closer. That stray on the corner, that quiet plea in their eyes. It might be a cry for help. Only you can answer. And if this story moved you, share it. Let's spread the word that every life matters, no matter how small or forgotten. Drop a comment with your thoughts. Have you ever helped a stray? Or maybe this inspires you to start. I'm reading every single one, so let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, keep looking out for those who need you most.